Hey everybody, Dr. Giggles here from SFNEOnline, and of course your host of The Growth Show. Today's video is going to be a little bit different, and this is going to be experiment number 1 of 2. We're going to try it this way, and then we're going to try it a different way, and then you guys will let us know after watching both which one you prefer. So before we get into what this video is, and then get into it, make sure if you're new here, click that subscribe button, click the like button, leave us a comment down below what you thought about it. And so let's get into this. Now, this is going to be a new video series type, what I call story time. And then we'll just put a title of what it is. Now, this is just going to be like me sitting here like I do everything else. And maybe that might be boring to some of you people. You know, you might want some different scenery, something different. But we'll try this, and if you like the stories and stuff like that, then we'll proceed. And we'll try the next story in a different setting, and you guys can let us know if that's not the right setting either or, and there should be a different one. Make sure you leave down in a comment, just suggestions. We're always open to suggestions. But let's start with story time number 1, which is how I became an enthusiast. And what I mean by that is this is my story of what got me into, theme parks and stuff like that. So we're going to go back in time a little bit. We're going to go back to the year, let's just say like 1980, 1979, 1980. During that time, I was 18 months old. Now, I used to think the story was full of baloney, but it's one that, after finding out how true it was, that I enjoy telling it. I tell it, when I'm with people and stuff like that. People ask me this question, how did you get into, amusement parks, theme parks? What got you into this, into the spot? So this is the story that was told by both of my parents. And evidently, what I'm about to tell you, you could never do today. You could never do today. So the story, the legend, whatever goes. And if you ever see my mom or my dad, you can ask them. They'll tell you the story. Back in, I want to say it's 1980. I was 18 months old. I was born in 1978. That they took me to what is a now defunct park called Rocky Point Park in Warwick, Rhode Island. And they got me on the Music Express. Now, we know in today's world that's just not going to happen. Not going to happen. So with that being said, the ride operator said, "You sure?" And they're like, "Yeah." And they're like, "If there's any issue, we'll stop the ride." So I went, and at first I cried, and then I enjoyed it, and then I made it through the whole ride, and then we went on it again. That was really, I guess, as my father says, that was really the start for me for the love that I had for amusement park rides. And I can remember as a kid. Now, mind you, I never heard of American Coaster Enthusiast until AJ told me about him in 2008. So I never even knew the Coaster Club or any Coaster Club, period, existed. Didn't even know what it was. Didn't know it was a thing. So as I was a kid throughout the 80s and the 90s, and my parents would take me all over the place. Canopy Lake, Whalen Park, Lincoln Park. I know they took me up to Old Orchard Beach. I believe Paragon Park. What is that place? It's in Mass. The zoo that had rides. It doesn't. Oh, Benson's Animal Farm. They've taken me down to Great Adventure. They've taken us to Disney. Canopy Lake, stuff like that. I had never heard of lake compounds, but the rest of them I had heard of, around. Most of them are defunct. Some are still around. I've gone to Riverside as a kid and all that. And I've gotten, I used to love it. And I remember first when they opened the Corkscrew at Rocky Point, which, for those that don't know, after that park closed in 95, when all the rides got auctioned off, it moved to Washington State to Wild Waves amusement park. But in any case, so I remember, anybody that's been to Rocky Point and remembers this, you can correct me if I'm wrong. I know you used to be able to get the ride bracelet or a stamp. It was like $14.95 to ride everything. But when the Corkscrew came out, I want to say it was like 75 cents or $1 or something like that to ride the corkscrew, and eventually it became on the wristband. Now, I can remember this to this day. Now, they had Cyclone, which was actually the Wildcat from Riverside Park in Mass. And I can remember, I had always rode that. I loved it. But this was something different because there wasn't any parks around, really, that had, a looping corkscrew. So for me, for a kid, that was to me, that was big. You kids today don't know. You guys got I-305, and you got Fury 325, and you got Millennium Force, and you got, King Dakar and Top Thrill Dragster, and you got all these big, giant rides. The biggest thing I had as a kid was a looping corkscrew. That was like the big thing when I was a kid, around here. And I can remember my heart beating like crazy. I was scared out of my mind. And I rode it, and then I loved it. I used to just ride it over and over and over and over again. And then I can remember when they put in the freefall, the Intamin Gen 1 freefall. And that, again, was something that was crazy. It was really crazy. It was, I'm a kid. And I can remember, like, going through, like, the House of Horrors and all the different stuff in Rocky Point. And then I can remember, like, going to Lincoln Park and riding the Comet and all the different rides. I remember going with the when I was a kid, my mother had me and my brother in the Boys and Girls Club, and that was like one of the trips that they would frequent. It would be like Rocky Point, it would be Lincoln Park, all the parks. They would just pick one, choose one, and you would just go. And then as I progressed and kept going, and then finally, sometime in the 80s, I went to Six Flags Great Adventure as a kid and rode whatever I could ride there. And then, they just kept bouncing me around to the parks, and I just kept wanting to go and go and go and go. And then, the rest becomes history as time goes on. I can just remember as a young kid enjoying every aspect that I could in the New England parks. And then, and then going down to Jersey. And, and then when I got older, they took us to Disney and Universal and stuff like that. But I can remember really it all started with that Music Express ride, and then it just progressed and progressed and progressed onto something that has put me in a different spot. It's like I wouldn't consider myself a roller coaster enthusiast. I would consider myself a theme park, amusement park, whatever you want to call it. I'll just say theme park enthusiast. I love everything about the parks. I'm not just all about the roller coasters. I'm about everything. I'm about everything from the park bench to the ice cream cone to the flat ride to the flume ride to the dark ride to the roll. I love all the aspects about it. I love the sounds, the smells, people watch, just the sensation of riding and the enjoyment I get out of just riding every ride that I can. And that's what I'm all about. So, I don't know if you enjoyed story time. If you did, click the like button. If you'd like to see it in a different kind of setting, let us know down below. If there's other stories that you think of, other events and stuff that you want to hear about, I've got stories galore with all these amusement parks. I can go on for days of all the crazy stuff. I got crazy stories for days that I can go on and on about. And then and we'll just keep doing them and share them in different environments and different things. Maybe I'll do some, like if I think of one to do, maybe a car ride, maybe like story time. The next one's going to be like story time, like telling my kid a story, except I'll just do a what do you call it, a double version of me, one being like the little kid and myself telling the story, just as an experiment to see if, I hope it's not cringy, we'll see. And if it works out and you guys like it, let us know. But if there's other different environments or different, if you know about different events or something and you heard a crazy story, or maybe you want to see if there's a park that maybe I have a story about, because I think I have a story about what every park that I've ever been to, something weird has happened. There's a lot of stories, but we're going to get out of here. Hopefully you enjoyed it. Until next time, everybody, keep on coasting, y'all. Peace! Hey, guys, if you ever want to reach out and contact us and have, ask us questions that you want to have answered on a live Grove show, or maybe in an off-season update or a question and answers kind of video, you could do so. And right down below here, we're going to put on the screen the email that you can reach myself at. It is delice45 at yahoo.com. Just put in the subject title SFNEOnline and then type away. Also, if you want to send us mail, maybe you got a drawing you want to send us, or maybe some kind of crazy cool package, or a letter you want us to read at some point. We're also going to put the the address down below, but it's 400J Putnam Pike, number 258, Smithfield, Rhode Island, 02917. And then you can just address that to SFNEOnline, and you can put attention Josh if you'd like. But yeah, you could do that too. So thanks, and see you soon. Thanks.
Warn you, there's something about to change. We're standing at the border where history is made. We're cranking up the lights now, so